ABC Sports presents live in its 29th year the Professional Bowlers Tour. Today from Toledo, it's the $280,000 Society Bank PBA National Championship, the first jewel in the Triple Crown. In our first match, last week's winner, Monachelli, makes his 6th championship round appearance in 1990. He'll face Jim Pencak of Mayfield Heights, Ohio, whose only win came last summer. The survivor of that game will meet newcomer Doug Kent from Canandaigua, New York. Our semifinal match features the man who won here in 1986, Tampa's Tom Kite. And leading the tournament in his 2nd consecutive telecast, Chris Warren of Dallas, Texas, who will be looking for his 2nd win this year. And that's our exciting field for today's Professional Bowlers Tour telecast. The Professional Bowlers Tour has traveled to Toledo, glass capital of the world, situated on the banks of the historic Maumee River. Hello again, I'm Chris Schenkel. This magnificent monument commemorates the Battle of Fallen Timbers, August 1794. This is the area where General Mad Anthony Wayne, his aide-de-camp, Major William Henry Harrison, and a formidable army defeated the Indian tribes, the Miamis, the Shawnees, Potawatomis, and their British allies. President George Washington, disgusted with the defeats of Generals Harmer and St. Clair, sent Wayne here to defeat the warriors of Chief Little Turtle, because it had been Little Turtle that had severely defeated both Harmer and St. Clair. This led the victory here to the Treaty of Greenville in southern Ohio, which allowed the settlers to have control of the rich Ohio Valley and most of Indiana, which brought about western expansion in this country. The Battle of Fallen Timbers. Let's go to another battle, from fallen timbers to falling pins. The battle site, Imperial Lanes. Here's my colleague, Nelson Burton Jr.
Thank you, Chris. The Battle of Fallen Timbers is over, but the Battle for Fallen Pins is just 6 days old. In the 1990 PBA National Championship, we still have one more day to go, and will be determined in the next 90 minutes. Now, there's been capacity crowds here all week in Toledo, as usual, and today is no exception. And we're only a minute away from the opening match. And with me, the man they have to beat, the man with the hot hand, our tournament leader, Chris Warren. Chris, happy St. Patrick's Day. I wish you and all the audience happy St. Patrick's Day.
Thank you very much, Bo.
You're all set up with the green, but this is a big day for you. You've had a great winter so far. You finished 1st in Pinole Valley, finished 2nd last week. What are your thoughts when you have a chance to win a major championship today?
Well, basically, I'm going to take it one step at a time. One step at a time is the only way you can do it. You can only throw one ball, so one strike at a time is preferably how I'd like to do it. And if I get lucky, I get lucky. If I don't, hey, it's a nice paycheck.
Well, you're talking about just one ball at a time. Last week, you had a chance to win it all. Came up in the 10th frame. You threw a bad shot. What will be your thoughts today if that same situation comes about?
Well, hopefully I won't be in that same situation. Hopefully I'll make better shots and go ahead and put my opponent down. But if I don't, it's no big deal, because I'm just going to be taking it one frame at a time. So I'm just going to concentrate on that one frame, and hopefully luck's with me and the good Lord's looking over me, and hey, I'll win.
No lack of confidence, but we'll take a look at how you have to win by checking out the championship pair. The PBA has set out a very difficult championship pair for the national championship. We have oil down to approximately 41 feet on the lane, then it's dry the last 19 feet. But what is much different today is there's like an OB for the right-handed players out here. Any place outside the first arrow, there's all oil. The out of bounds will cause the ball to slide tremendously to the right, even into the channel, and if they're wide on the strike shot, just clip off 3 pins. And what this forces the right-handers to do, all 5 players being right-handers, is play the center of the lane, roll it out to the track area or Warren area between the 10th and 15th boards, and then hook it into the 1-3 pocket. A very difficult shot. They can handle it, shoot some big scores, Chris, and they're shooting for some big money.
Okay, and the battle is about to begin. $280,000 total purse. 54 to the victor, 28-5 to the runner, 15, 10, and 8. This is for the PBA National Championship. And Nat'l Monachelli, the PBA Player of the Year in 1989, shooting first on the left lane. He won last week at the Palace in Columbus, Ohio. And a 10 pin for Nat'l. who's here in the first match going against Jim Pencak, a 30-year-old native of Ohio in the Cleveland area.
Monachelli has been bowling well all year long and definitely the #1 player in the country today. He's also #1 in average on the Professional Bowlers Tour, 219.5.
Norm Nat'l in his 39th television appearance has marked with a spare in the first frame of our first match. Now, let's get better acquainted with 30-year-old Jim Pencak, Mayfield Heights, Ohio. That's east of Cleveland, where we'll be next week for our finals. He's on the right lane, first shot.
That's one to smile about. Jim Pencak, it's a terrific break. As you look at his style, he has a good, solid push away. A very powerful man. Look at the chest and whatnot. And uses all that wrist action, good knee bend, to throw the strong ball. And he gets a good break there where the head pin went to the sideboard and tripped out to 2.
He won in Green Bay last summer, qualifying 4th, going on to win his very first title. Oh, with a big double. Pinsac off to a 10-pin lead here in the National Championship.
The championship pair, 25 and 26 at this 60-lane Emporium owned by Mike and Daryl Ducat, is a pair that has tremendous characteristics. The left-hand lane hooks about 4 boards more than the right-hand lane, so we can watch for that all day long.
Nat'l now leaving the 7-pin.
And you could really see where that ball did not hook as much. It just started to move. Now watch this as you look at his profile. 5-step delivery, good push away, the high backswing, then he cups that wrist underneath next to his left leg. Now he's over the 3rd arrow. Now watch, this ball will just not break quite as much and you leave the 7-pin. That ball would have been solid on the left-hand lane. Something to watch for all day long. Make the adjustment on both lanes.
This is the National Championship, the first of the big 3. Second largest purse with a total of $280,000. 315 pros started here earlier in the week. Coming into our finals today, there were 8,677 total games. We talked about pinfall, 1,782,322. What a week.
7 rounds, 8 schemes each. Nat'l, 3rd frame.
Okay. Our tournament leader, whom you'll see later, is Chris Warren. 2 of his games were perfect 300 games here this week. Total right there is 600 alone.
Pinsac wearing all sorts of paraphernalia. He's got a glove that helps him hold on to the ball, a wrist device, and something to help him for tendonitis. He has it all going there.
6-10, right lane.
A little bit wild on the right-hand lane. Remember in the first frame he came in light, tried to make the adjustment, goes high, and avoids the 4-6-10 split, ends up with a 6-10. And remember that oil strip on the outside we talked about. It affects all the spares in the right-hand corner. I've seen so many players give it room and slide by a spare.
In black, Jim Pencak here on St. Patrick's Day. We asked him why he's more successful in the long format.
With the longer format, if you have a bad block or a bad couple games, you have more games ahead of you to overcome those difficulties. So the longer format gives me the opportunity, if you have a bad block, not to, it doesn't hamper you because you can always come back and have a big block after that.
All the major tournaments have the long format, 56 games and 48 in the Firestone.
So a 3-10. And seeing that, today's Nelson Burton tip of the week is all about such splits or spares.
That is the shot we shoot this week, and very difficult here at Imperial Lanes because the ball has a tendency to slide by the 3-pin. Pinsac up on the approach, needs to clip the 3-pin on the right side, have the ball deflect into the 10.
guest, professional Jim Pencak. Mayfield Heights, Ohio, going against Nat'l Monachelli. First game, Pinsac leading by 7.
Everybody knows the pain reliever doctors recommend most for headaches is Tylenol. But that's not all. Tylenol is also recommended most by doctors for lower back pain, knee injury pain, contusion pain, postpartum pain, fever, general body aches and pain, and on and on. Tylenol, recommended the most by the people who know the most.
Do you like chicken? Like Wendy's whole breast of chicken filet sandwich, our chicken club with bacon, and chicken parmesan with mozzarella and tomato sauce. You do? Then come to Wendy's for the best chicken sandwiches in the business.
Do it yourself. Do it for yourself. Do yourself proud with Minwax and Wood.
Wood finish for beautiful color like no other, and Minwax polyurethane for fast drying protection that lasts.
Do yourself proud with Minwax and Wood.
We're at the 60-lane bowling establishment, 10th consecutive year for the PBA National Championship to be here at Imperial Lanes. We're in our first match in Nat'l Monachelli. Last week's winner, trailing by 7. He has a strike up, can take the lead with a strike here. He's going against Jim Pencak. This time a 4-pin for Nat'l.
The key lane is going to be the right-hand lane, 26. You see the ball drifting a little bit high. Monachelli, knowing that this lane doesn't hook as much, turns the ball much harder and just barely avoids the 4-9 split. And as these lanes begin to hook more during the day, the scoring environment goes up. That gives the players more swing area, and the scores get better as the day goes on.
While Nat'l moves to the left lane, looking at his wife, Teresa, we asked what advice he'd give to bowlers to get fit for competition.
I would recommend 15 to 20 minutes stretching exercise. I think that's the most important thing. Then some kind of aerobics like running on jump rope. You know, you need the strength for your legs. Then some stomach exercise like sit-ups and arm exercise like push-ups or anything you would like to. Then cool down, take a shower, and get ready to go.
Advice from Nat'l Monachelli, getting his second strike, that one coming in the 5th frame, still trailing by 7. He's going against Jim Pencak, who has 1 victory to his credit.
Jim likes to do walleye fishing in the off-season or when he has some time. And right now he'd like to throw a strike to maintain his 7-pin lead.
High hit leaving the floor. Jim, who fishes a lot with his brother David, who is here watching, along with his wife Liz, had some tough times. Liz, of course, and brother David. He has sponsors now, Jeff Mraz and Dick Gran, but he once had to sell his Harley Davidson to get a little cash to stay out here. And I'm happy to report he got enough cash to buy another. Good.
Pinsac cut his teeth in the regional program. The PBA has 7 regions set up around the country for players to basically have a minor league of bowling, and they have to cash 4 times in that region before they're eligible to come out here on the Professional Bowlers Tour or win one of those tournaments, as the man who will bowl the next match did, Doug Kent. Pinsac won $11,000+ in '84 in the regions while maintaining a job.
4, 6, 7 on the left lane for Pinsac.
What happened to Jimmy there, he just hit the ball a little early, and he needs to get the ball over in the 4-7 zone, hopefully just bounce one of the pins out into the 6. Best theory there is just throw it real hard.
All right. the lead goes over to Nat'l Monachelli on the open frame. Monachelli can increase it now, shooting in the 6th, strike working. Leaving a 10.
Once again, the characteristic of this championship pair, the green in the wood comes through in Imperial lanes here, and it always has been. This was a lacquer house, and I mean, that was the type of surface they had down for years and years before they went to the polyurethane surface. And the track characteristic was between the 2nd and 3rd arrows, and that characteristic still comes through in a championship pair, so 26 does not hook as much as 25.
Nat'l Monachelli finishing 5th, Jim Pencak 4th. Brian Voss finished 6th, defending champion Pete Weber 62nd.
Nat'l asking for one of his 2 re-racks here in the 7th frame.
Coming up next, ABC's Wide World of Sports, heading to Alaska for coverage of the treacherous 1,100-mile ice-covered trail between Anchorage and Nome, the Iditarod sled dog race, plus live coverage of the Florida Derby. Nat'l, another single pin leave, the 4 on the left.
Kind of tell that both players are a little bit tentative. You see it in Nat'l's face, and I'm sure Jim Pencak, he's a little bit worried. $54,000 at top, and a 3-year exemption from the Firestone Tournament of Champions has somewhat tightened up this players in this opening match. You can see Monachelli around the pocket every frame, what, the 10-pin, 7-pin, 4-pin, 10-pin, 4-pin, and 2 strikes. Can't seem to loosen up.
Okay, we're at Imperial Lanes in Toledo, Ohio on the Maumee, where we'll return after this.
Nothing beats it. Nothing beats it. The one and only. Nothing beats it. The clean, the crisp, the cold. The king of beers. Nothing beats the Bud. Nothing beats the king of beers. Nothing beats a Budweiser. Nothing beats a Bud.
Spring is prime home selling season because there are more buyers in the market. More reasons than ever to put your trust in the Century 21 system. We have access to more buyers through our referral network of 6,000 offices nationwide. The exclusive Action Warranty puts a promise of service in writing. And year in, year out, no one sells more homes. So if you're ready to sell, now's the time to call your local Century 21 office.
Century 21.
Experience the challenge of the last great race on Earth. Plus, the road to Kentucky begins with the Florida Derby. All next on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
And Nat'l Monachelli's shot in the 8th frame with a spare working. He has left the 2-4-10 running a little bit behind of our allotted schedule. So while we were away, Jim Pencak hurriedly got up, bowled a double. He regained the lead by 3 pins, getting late here in the first match. Trying, of course, for the conversion because it is possible. Meanwhile, Bo Burton is with the man that will meet the winner of this game.
Thank you, Chris. Doug Kent, your first championship round appearance, a little bit apprehensive, a little bit nervous going in there?
Yeah, a little bit nervous, not too bad. I'm just going to stick with my original game plan and try to stay aggressive and make good shots and just keep my head in there.
Well, that's the way to win. Good luck.
Thank you.
Non-winner, Doug Kent, who'll be up next. 9th frame.
Come on,
Wanted that one so badly. Again, a 10-pin. 2-4-10 in the previous frame, which caused Nat'l to open. Nat'l finishing 5th out of the field of 315 pros. He's had a fabulous career, but he has never won from the 5th position. For Nat'l, it's a spare in the ninth. Pinsac now up. Double working for him, shooting in the ninth frame. Here's a man that finished second in last year's Seagram's United States Open. Lost to Mike Albee, but he won $55,000 for runner-up. Sliding by, leaving the head pin, the 2, 4, and 7.
That's close to that out-of-bounds area we were talking about, Chris. Once the player gets it out past the 5th board, there's oil out there, and the ball starts skidding. And what he has to do is he has lost some count. He's got a very difficult spare. He has to go across the head pin, get the ball in the 1-2 zone, and carry out the pins down the line. If he happens to miss this spare, the match will go right to the 10th frame.
Leaving the 4. The 4.
Well, that's opened the door for anybody's match. Monachelli going at a 183 pace, Pinsac at a 185 pace. You see him not get quite far enough to the left of the head pin. Chops the 2 back into the 7, fails to take out the 4.
What are the odds on that, making the 1, 2, 4, 7?
Well, for a player of their caliber, Chris, there's almost no odds. They should make it at least 19 out of 20 times, but as we said, that right-hand lane's so difficult. Now it comes to the 10th frame.
And now Pinsac is plagued by the 10 pin on the left lane. Tough moment for his wife, Liz. In the spirit of St. Patrick's Day, there she is.
The green carnation. For Jim Pencak, he needs a spare and a strike to end up 185. He cannot shut out Monachelli, who has not struck on the right-hand lane at all this game.
Heard some people in the standing room only crowd sort of moaning, thinking that that ball was headed for the channel, but it did come back. And safe and sound. Looking away. Exhaling lightly, blowing on the thumb a bit. Furrowed brow of Pinsac.
If he gets 9 or a strike, Monachelli must double.
Oh, a high hit.
That sets up the possibility of a tie. 183 for Jim Pencak. Monachelli, spare strike or strike spare. We would have a tie match. And we would go into a 9th and 10th frame sudden death to determine the winner of the first match.
The fact that this is the Pros National Championship adds enough pressure and tension.
Monachelli has not struck on this lane in 4 previous attempts.
Glued to the house.
That's a loser. He needed a strike spare to tie the match. He's going to end up with 182. The best Pinsac will win with 183.
So it is $8,000 for Nat'l Monachelli. ABC Sports presentation, the Professional Bowlers Tour, will be back after this message and a word from our local stations.
The thinking that went into your Firestone tires took a lot of different tracks. At the toughest tracks in the country, we run in all sorts of competitions. We race a lot. We learn a lot. And it all goes into every Firestone tire we make. Firestone. Watch us. We're on the move.
Got Firestones again, huh? I've got a one-track mind.
All right, let's see it. Yeah, Dave. Okay, ready?
Get into a new highway. Kentucky Fried Chicken. Fight the right thing. Come on and do some highway. Get into a new thing.
Looks great, Dave. When's she gonna let you drive it?
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Spicy, zesty hot wings. New from Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Sunday on This Week with David Brinkley. Batter up. The great American pastime is on hold. With the lockout threatening the season, the players and owners pitch their sides to the Brinkley panel Sunday.
Last week on Como News 4, consumer editor Connie Thompson keeps an eye on the stories that matter to you. The latest on a local door-to-door scam.
Federal indictments have been handed down.
How to protect your family from
The
fire.
batteries may be working, but experts say you really need to know if the...
And good news if you're trying to sell your home.
You no longer have to pay the agent a sales commission if you are the one who...
Consumer news you depend on. It's another good reason to watch Como News 4 tonight.
Give me the ball! Save at all Jack Roberts locations, Seattle, Everett, Renton, Tacoma, and Linwood. Big savings on Magic Chef washers and dryers, Magic Chef refrigerators, Magic Chef dishwashers and ranges. Easy credit terms of 0 down, 90 days, same as cash or bank card. Plus up to $500 rebates with Magic Chef appliances. With Jack Roberts Appliance, everyone is a winner. I won't be undersold.
Northwest cops putting their lives on the line. Sunday at 6.
ABC's Professional Bowlers Tour. Brought to you by Kentucky Fried Chicken. Taste our best at Kentucky Fried Chicken. By Extra Strength Tylenol, the pain reliever hospitals use most. And by A&W. So sit back and pour yourself an A&W root beer or cream soda.
A mere one-pin victory for Jim Pencak of Mayfield Heights, Ohio, over Venezuela's Nat'l Monachelli. Monachelli finishing by covering the 8th pin and then a strike as we look at a capacity crowd. They are such loyal bowling fans here in this Ohio city, Toledo, Ohio. After 9 weeks, Nat'l Monachelli leads with 420 points in the Budweiser King Point pin standings. Points are awarded based on tournament finishes, 125 to the winner of a tournament. Speaking of a winner, Production Services helpful man named Randy Watson and his wife Nancy, proud first-time parents 4 days ago. Andrew James Watson, congratulations.
And now the newcomer, Doug Kent, was solid all week long. This is his first championship round appearance. He was extremely nervous, and he admitted it, but I think he has the right type of shot for these lanes. They're very slick, and we see all the big hook ball players sliding by, then going high. This man goes down and in with good, solid lift.
6'2". Like that. We asked the president of the PBA earlier what he thought of Doug Kent. He said, there is a comer. Watch and remember the name Doug Kent.
Well, he's so solid, Chris. Very seldom do you see a player come out with the good swing, the good release, and then seem so cerebral on the lanes. Nothing seemed to disturb him, and he held that follow-through and really planted at the line. Pensac's another example of a player that hits the line very solidly. Look at how well he's balanced.
Get up, get up.
Well, a 5. I haven't seen that for a while.
Well, that was a paralyzer 5. Watch the pin action here. The ball will actually hit the 5 pin, and something will come off the left sideboard and knock it back up. Watch the ball hit the 1-3. Here goes the 5 pin. The head pin went to the sideboard and knocked the 4 into the 5 and made it stand up. Got it from both sides.
So Jim Pencak, if you just joined us, he defeated Nat'l Monachelli in the first game, 183 to 182, and in that victory, 4 strikes. Pencak, you see that last year, a pretty good year, 92,000, helped by the 55,000 he won at the United States Open. April 7th, the final of this year's United States Open, Woodland Bowl in Indianapolis. Falling bowling pins, a late one.
2 frames in a row that you see different type of pin action by Jim Pencak. The head pin will do the damage here. Watch the head pin go to the left sideboard, comes across as the messenger, and drives out the 10.
Now Doug Kent, 185-pounder, 25 years old. Leaving the 2-5.
What to do when you run into a championship here, or even a lane condition at home where their lanes are so diametrically different. One hooks a lot, such as 25, and one doesn't hook. What you allow yourself to do is play the hook ball on 25 or the hooking lane and try to go straighter on the non-hooking lane. Don't try to force it to hook. All the players are trying to force to hook the ball on the right-hand lane, and they're struggling.
Championship golf courses, tough conditions. Same here for the first of bowling's Triple Crown, PBA National. Tough championship pair, lanes 25 and 26 of this 60-lane house called Imperial.
The scores have been excellent all week, 7 300 games, but this, as you said, Chris, a very demanding pair. Last year in the championship round, only a 198 average, and it doesn't look like it's going to be much more than that this year.
So Doug Kent doing very well. First time on television as we look at Nancy and Mike, his mother and father, who have come in from Canandaigua, New York.
Canandaigua, just outside Rochester.
Pretty area.
Great town. See the position of Jim Pencak. Moves up on the approach, 17 feet approach. He's up there about the 12-foot mark. 5 quick steps and a powerful release.
And Jim's double has broken a deadlock, putting him now 10 pins ahead. Winner of this second game will meet Tom Kite of Tampa, Florida, and then colorful Chris Warren, a dynamite from Dallas, Texas.
The position of Jim Pencak on the approach on the left-hand lane, which hooks more. He'll try to roll the ball in this area. He'll slide around in this area, starting in this area. Watch how he drifts slightly to his left as he takes his last step.
And Jim now, for the first time today, has strung 3, has increased his lead now to 20 pins over Doug Kent. More after this.
For great personal service and low everyday prices, check the lineup at your neighborhood True Value hardware store, where the March hardware value of the month is the 2-gallon pail of True Test high-hiding white flat latex wall paint. It dries quickly to a soft, velvety finish, and tools clean up with soap and water. In March, the 2-gallon pail of True Test flat latex wall paint is just $8.98, where you see the banner at participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
I'm not the kind of guy to mess with my hair, and I'm sure not going to mess with shampoo and conditioner. So I found an easy way to get my hair the way I want it, with Pert Plus. It's simple. It's complete shampoo plus complete conditioner in one bottle. I just wash my hair, and Pert Plus leaves it clean, conditioned, and easy to manage. So you don't need 2 bottles of stuff. With Pert Plus, you just wash and go.
Pert Plus cleans and conditions in just 1 step.
Hey fans, this tournament's for you. The tour rolls into Cleveland for the $160,000 Budweiser Open next Saturday on ABC Sports.
Pinfall, all of them, on the 5th frame shot by non-winner Doug Kent, who in the previous frame left the 1-2-4-10 and converted the 1-2-4-10. He's going against Jim Pencak, who has strung 3 now, leading by 20. We're in our second match. This is the man that defeated Nat'l Monachelli 183 to 182 in our first game. So now, with 4 in a row, his lead is 30 as we go to Tom Kite with Bo Burton.
Thank you, Chris. With me is Tom Kite. Obviously, lane 26 is the key, Tom. You won this tournament. You must have a game plan to hit it.
Yeah, well, 26 is quite a bit tighter than 25. Matter of fact, that might be the tightest lane we've bowled on all week.
And what are you going to do on it?
Well, I'll have to move to the right.
He's won the national championship. He could be very tough, Chris.
He won it right here in Imperial Lanes. Came on the air with a scene from the battlefield of fallen timbers. Watch this 10-pin. Will it or won't it? Of course. Give you gray hair waiting. 5-bagger. Now Doug Kent.
Dave?
Left to 9.
What a tough break. A solid 9. Doug Kent makes the adjustment on the right-hand lane, goes down and in, and really doesn't get rewarded at all for a good shot. The dynamics of a perfect strike, the ball hits the 1, 3, 5, and should deflect into the 9. He had so much power, it hooked right by the 9 pin and took out the 8.
Okay. This far this year, Doug has earned $1,280. Last year, a little over 10. Today is going to be a good payday for Doug, wherever he finishes.
Doug plays a little less hook than the other players, and he'll be standing a little farther to the right on the approach, playing the ball between the 3rd and 4th arrows. He'll start over here, left side of the approach, and walk towards his target line. That's very important to walk towards the line you want to roll.
Leaving the 2, 4, 5, 8. This man, whose previous best finish was 19th in Wichita, finished 3rd out of 315 pros.
2, 4, 5, 8 bucket, difficult spare. He has to get that ball between the 2 and 5 pins, make sure he carries out the back 8.
So the man who idolizes the great pro Hall of Famer Mark Roth, Doug Kent, can rest. We'll be back after this.
If you thought you had to give up comfort to get a close shave, Norelco says, think again. Their revolutionary shaving system shaves skin close in a way that's incredibly comfortable. As the hair enters the chamber, the patented lift and cut system lifts each hair and holds it a split second before a blade cuts it, so it's possible to shave skin close without the blades even touching the skin. The lift and cut shaving system from Norelco. We made close comfortable.
Man, what a day. I could sure use a vacation.
Yeah, I'd like to be right here.
Ice cold, bud.
Hey, maybe tomorrow we should bring the boss. Nah.
Experience the challenge of the last great race on Earth. Plus, the road to Kentucky begins with the Florida Derby. All next on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
All right, Wide World next, following us. Lots of excitement, and here, while we were away, in the 7th frame, Pinsac made it 6 strikes in a row, put him ahead 54 pins. In the 8th, he left the 4, marking with the spare, leading by 53. And now for first-time finalist, Doug Kent, spare up in the 7th, shooting in the 8th. Oh, goodness. 4, 6, 7, 9, 10.
Game over. Very difficult split to make, but he needed strikes right there to get back into the match as he left the big 5. If he happens to convert this by sliding the 4 pin over into the 6, 9, 10 zone, not made very often, and he's shooting it really the toughest way to make it, shooting at the 3.
Hey! He converted. A 1, 2, 4, 10 earlier, now 4, 6. 7, 9, 10. How about that, Bo?
Watch the action of the 6 pin. It's the first pin he's going to hit. It deflects off the 9, bounces off the 7. The 7 kicks it just before it goes into the pit. Chris, it's actually easier to make by shooting the 2 pins on the left, but he got the great break. He has an outside chance if he can throw some strikes.
Don't feel big. Sliding by, and now he's 1, 2, 4, 10 again, which he did convert. We could do a clinic on how to convert spares.
Make that spare and make that split, and he has a microphone, and you could hear him say, or the microphone picked it up, I threw it in the OB. The players are aware of it. He has to get the ball over the 1, 2 zone, drive it into the 10.
So it's an open ninth, 155 through 9, as Pinsac up things well in hand. Spare working for him with a 74-pin lead.
Watch the angle. He won't swing out real wide like we saw last week at Columbus, Ohio.
See the adrenaline flowing now. The body, the big body of Jim Pencak, 195-pounder who trimmed down, losing 30 in the process to cause some havoc out here on the Professional Bowlers Tour. And Jim is doing that. Now the 10th frame for Pinsac. Kite continues to stay loose along with tournament leader Chris Wan. All right, we have a winner. It's his second victory. We'll give you the final score. But first, let's go to Bo's Tip of the Week, converting baby spares.
Today's bowling tip of the week is on split making. And the split we have today is the 310 baby split. The most common split in bowling, but it's also the easiest to convert if you employ the proper techniques. And I'll show you how to do that right now. First, move to the left side of the approach. Now I have my position marked on the approach with this green tape. Second, pick out your third arrow target. I have green tape over the third arrow. When you roll the ball over the third arrow and get the ball just to the right of the 3-pin, you'll notice that the ball will deflect into the 10. It doesn't take much power. The ball does all the work. Let's give the 310 baby split a try. There you have it. Move to the left side of the approach, roll the ball over the third arrow, and you'll increase your chances of making the baby split.
ABC Sports brings you the ultimate bowling home video.
Now, let's get on with the action.
Learn how to fix your problems the right way. Improve your game strategy. And practice smarter. It's Bo Burton's instructional video, Score More. Just $24.98 plus $3 shipping. Call 1-800-4ABC-VCR.
Nothing hurts a bowler's performance like an out-of-balance ball. That's why I teamed up with the people at Ebonite to develop the Thunderbolt Dual Block. Its patented weight placement system as a dual weight block to offset the weight removed by drilling with incredible precision, making every roll more stable, every impact more powerful.
The Thunderbolt Dual Block from Ebonite.
When you've got your power stroke going, you've got confidence that nothing's going to beat you. Introducing Power Stick, the new antiperspirant that gives you 24-hour odor and wetness protection in just one wide stroke. It takes 2 strokes of the leading stick to match Power Stick's 1-stroke protection, 24-hour protection. In just 1 stroke. New Power Sticks from Fabergé.
A native of Ohio has won the first 2 games, a whopping 9 strikes and 267. Doug Kemp, first time on TV, fired a 172. Capacity crowd here. We're at the Imperial Lanes for the PBA National Championship, sponsored by Society Bank and Trust Company. Wonderful hosts, and the 2 combatants for the 3rd game are still continuing to warm up. Even little Chris Warren, the tournament leader, is there. And speaking of being there, we go to North Olmsted, Ohio. Welcome all our friends from Budweiser and the Budweiser Open, $160,000 at stake. Then to the True Value Open, landmark lanes in another river city, Peoria, Illinois.
Chris, the National Championship, a large field, 315 players. Average game, 205, 218 is up from 10 pins over from last year. 81 spots they paid, and here's some of the other top 24. Boss just missed. Tommy Baker up there bowling well. Ron Palumbi, Mark McDowell. Berardi gave it a run, bowled very well this week. Joe Furp. Albert Westlake, solid paychecks. Jurek and Ellenberg, Frank Ellenberg, the Masters champion. Danilo, top 24 this year. Many times. Jaros up there. Robert Lawrence, we've seen him a number of times. Curtis Odom, steady player. Traber and Pritz, 20th and 21st. David Husted and Hoskins, who is the Rookie of the Year. In 24th place, Busby, and there's the championship trophy, Chris.
And we should point out that the defending champion, who is one of the 3 Triple Crown winners, Pete Weber, finished 62nd here in defense of his title. He won a year ago. Here's a man that finished second in the Open last year, loves the long format, showing it especially in that last game. 267 on a tough championship pair. Third match for Pinsac.
Come on!
It looks like he should be playing for the Cleveland Browns near his hometown.
Powerful guy with a powerful bowling ball. Now here's a tough match game opponent. I'll tell you what, I'd never have liked bowling against Tom Kreitz. He presses you, he's great in the clutch, and he is really very poker-faced out there on the lanes.
He is a PBA National Champion, winning here in 1986. He has 5 titles. You know, when he won the PBA National, it was his first victory.
It's a great way to start, Chris, is that first victory, a big paycheck. As you see his form, he's going between the second and third arrows. He's playing a much tighter line on the right-hand lane. And, you know, he was kind of evasive when I did that interview with him on how to hit that right-hand lane. So I don't blame him for not telling anybody. You see 7 rounds this week as opposed to 6 in a normal tournament. 56 games this week.
Leaving the bucket now on the left lane, 2-4-5-8. You're looking at 28-year-old Tom Kreitz, 6-footer, 170 pounds, from Tampa, Florida. Represents a bowling chain of 6 centers in Tampa, the Regal Lanes Incorporated.
He has to get the ball over in this zone here, have the ball carry out the 8-pin. We had this spare once before. It was converted by Kent.
Tom Kreitz.
Well, the key pin is the 8-pin, but the hard thing is to avoid the chop. That's what makes the 2-4-5-8 so difficult. Right now, Jim Pencak, who is averaging 225, his opponents have only averaged 178, so he's just been running right over him, and he has an early lead.
Pinsac with 9 strike in his last victory opens with a double here at Imperial Lanes.
Watch the line he's playing. He doesn't go to that extreme outside line we've seen in other weeks. He avoids those last 5 or 6 boards. You see him rolling about the 9th board there. Then he gets the wall shot. The head pin does most of the work. The good spin on the ball. Head pin takes out the 4, 5, and 7. 25 seconds with which to get the shot away. No problem for Jim Pencak.
Third strike in this game. Returns Pinsac. Fired up.
Pensac's doing what all good match play bowlers do on a pair of lanes. He got 25 zeroed, and he keeps hitting it. And then every time he hits 26, it's a turkey. He struck on 25 in the first frame, made it good on 26, and once again, now he has Kreitz in early trouble.
No, Tom Kreitz. Never to back down from any opponent. He is tough.
Agreed, Chris. You never have enough against him.
We asked him earlier why he's had success here at Imperial Lanes, a national championship.
Well, I cashed 7 out of the first 8 events coming into this week, and it's a long year. Hopefully this is the start of better weeks for me to come. And I am always confident here in Imperial Lanes, and when the shot's in around 4th there, I'm even more confident and comfortable.
And of course, Tom, they're hoping for a double to come within 22, but he has left the 4-7.
Slide over compensation by Tommy Kreitz. Left the 2-4-5-8 in the second. Makes the adjustment a couple boards to the right with his feet. And the ball just doesn't set up quite in the pocket. Has a lot softer speed than most of the players on the tour. And when he hits around the pocket, he doesn't get as tapped as much. So far, he's struggled just a little bit on the key lane.
This is our semifinal game. Third of 4, live from Imperial Lanes.
This weekend, we were supposed to take up a new sport.
Mountain climbing.
Yeah, boy, I was really looking forward to hanging off an 8,000-foot cliff by my fingernails. Then I found out I could get a free game of bowling and a chance to win up to $100,000 in the A&W Road to Riches sweepstakes. So this weekend, it's A&W root beer and cream soda, our favorites, and some real fun bowling.
Next weekend, skydiving.
Look for the A&W free bowling display.
Now, for every time life turns up the heat,
I told you we wouldn't know anybody.
a new kind of antiperspirant, Degree.
Total strangers.
I see that.
New Degree is body heat activated. Every time your body heat rises, Degree kicks in with extra protection. Precisely when you need it most, Degree has you covered.
It's about time.
New Degree protects you most when you need it most.
Not since Red and Scarlet has Atlanta seen this kind of heat. One of NASCAR's hottest stops, the Atlanta 500, live tomorrow on ABC Sports.
Two fine gentlemen, Society Bank and Trust executives. On the right, Rick Deal, who is chairman and CEO, a former pin boy in his early days, and Jim Hoffman, president of Society Bank and Trust in the Toledo area. $280,000 PBA National Championship. Here's a man, 3 frames, 3 strikes, shooting in the 4th. Make it 4. Jim Pencak, Mayfield Heights, Ohio. Let's go to Bo.
Thank you, Chris. Our tournament leader, who would you rather bowl, Tommy Kreitz or Jim Pencak?
Basically, I have neither one. I'm just going to sit back, bowl against the pins, and if I knock them all down 12 times in a row, I can only be tied.
Tell me a score you need to shoot to beat Pinsac, let's say, in the final game.
Well, I think a good 230 would be nice, but I'm looking for 12 in a row. 230's not enough.
Good luck.
Not the way this man has been bowling, but the string is broken at 4, shooting in the 5th frame, leading the 2 and sleeper 8. Bo with Chris Warren, a 115-pounder from Dallas, Texas. Tournament leader, he'll meet the winner of this match. Our 5 finalists, total prize money, just today, $115,000. Monachelli won 8, losing the first game. Doug Kent, $10,000, losing the second. Loser of this, the semifinal game, will get 15. Winner has a chance for 54. All right. An anxious moment at the line for Pinsac. Coming up next, ABC's Wide World of Sports. Treacherous 1,100-mile Iditarod Trail sled dog race. Unparalleled thoroughbred racing coverage here on ABC, beginning with the Florida Derby, a prep for the Kentucky Derby, the first Saturday in May, also to be seen here on ABC. Tom Kreitz.
Well, it's get-go time for Tom Kreitz. He really looks sharp out there. He just has not played the lanes properly on the left-hand lane, and so he has to find it right now in order to get back in the match. Let's take a look at the adjustment he will make on this left-hand lane to hopefully get in the pocket. The first time he was up, he was standing a little bit too far to the left on the approach, way over in this zone. Then he moved a little bit too far to the right. Now he's right in between, and he wants to get that ball over the 3rd arrow, slide right about here. This is the key shot, almost a must-strike situation.
Trying to cut Pinsac's lead to 30, and he's left with this, the 4, 6, 7, 10.
Tommy Kreitz very dejected. A key shot, and what happened is he just cut right through the middle. He has the big 4. He can either shoot for these 2 or these 2 and try to slide one of the pins across to make it probably the toughest split, common split in the sport of bowling. Harder than the 710.
Well, it's the second open frame now for Tom Kreitz, the 1985 Rookie of the Year. Followed it up with a national championship right here in '86. Exasperating is the expression on the face of Kreitz.
the short approach of Pinsac from the overhead view.
Five strikes for Pinsac in 6 frames. Semifinal game, the winner to meet Chris won.
Pinsac, the only player to seem to have made the proper adjustment on the championship pair, as he snuck by Nat'l Monachelli by 1 pin, and then he made the adjustment by changing balls and has been dominant since then. There you see our leaders after 10 weeks on the Pro Bowlers Tour.
Not this time. 7 on the left lane.
The reason that 7 pin didn't go down is Jim Pencak threw the 5 pin over towards the 7, but the head pin got in the way. Watch the action of the head pin. It sneaks behind the 4. Here comes the 5 pin over. The 5 drives into the 4, and the head pin drives in the 4 and does not allow the 5 to take out the 7. But Pinsac has this game well in hand as he leads by 54.
Society Bank PBA National Championship. More after this.
The bill's twice as big as usual.
'Cause, honey, you ate twice as much.
With extra strength Tums EX, even twice the heartburn's no sweat. It's twice as strong, twice as fast as regular Rolaids.
Is your car shaking, rattling, or rolling? Whether it's alignment, shocks, or struts, Midas uses top technology to diagnose the problem and top technicians to fix it. For suspension or alignment, nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
They said this concrete would last for years. Now it has expensive water damage. Why?
Even concrete needs the protection of Thompson's Water Seal. It penetrates to protect wood, brick, and concrete from water damage. Thompson's the first name in lasting protection.
Barbasol Gel gives you a super close shave like the other gel, but at a great Barbasol price.
Your Barbasol Gel, sir. Your change, sir.
Barbasol Gel. No wonder it appeals to the rich.
Hey fans, this tournament's for you. The tour rolls into Cleveland for the $160,000 Budweiser Open next Saturday on ABC Sports.
There they are, distinguished proprietors. Dad Daryl Ducat on the left and his son Mike, wonderful hosts for the 10th year for the PBA National Championship.
Tommy Kite's 7th frame absolutely must strike at least 4 times, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, to have any chance.
Tom Kite. Finally another strike. Tomorrow on ABC Sports, NASCAR's best drivers will meet in the Stock Car Classic, the Atlanta 500. We'll have flag-to-flag coverage live at 1 Eastern, 12 noon Central and Pacific. And tomorrow, that's on ABC Sports. Darrell Waltrip is the defending champion there.
Kreitz, who figures to bowl well here, winning the national championship in '86, has conquered the difficult right-hand lane, but he has not played far enough left on the approach on what we say is the easy lane that everybody's hit. So he has to make that adjustment now and throw a strike, or it's all over.
And he does just that. If you just joined us, we're in the semifinal match of the Society Bank PBA National Championship. Soon we'll determine a winner who will receive $54,000. This man getting up now, 175-pounder, has won the first 2 matches by a score of 183 to Monachelli's 182, and then a 267 to Doug Kent's 172.
The position of Jim Pencak. He's starting to hit the right leg.
Big piling him on here at one of the meccas of bowling, Toledo. Like, for instance, the WIBC. Those great ladies were here a couple of years ago, and now this week it's a religious bowling competitive weekend. 825 bowlers at the Knights of Columbus, 150. Lutherans are bowling in a championship, their 49th year, and so are the International B'nai B'rith Bowling Association, an organization that started right here in Toledo. Thousands. Leaving it 2. Not too upset about it either.
Wow, you got a terrific break. He was looking at the 2-10 split would have opened this matchup. Watch the pin action. The ball's going to slide by. The 2 pin will be staying, but watch the 10 pin. It barely goes down. There it is. The 10-pin almost stands for a 2-10 split. If Pinsac opens there, he opens the door for Kreitz to sneak right into the thick of the things in the 10th frame.
Okay. Tournament leader waiting, Chris Warren of Dallas to meet the victor here. Leaders by rounds.
Qualifying rounds. Those are 8-game rounds. So that's 32 games of qualifying, then 24 games of match play. That's rounds 5, 6, and 7. A total of 56 games in the PBA National, 56 games in the U.S. Open, and the other major Triple Crown, the Firestone, has 48 games. Now, a must-strike situation for Kreitz.
Comes through. Now remember, he has strung 3, cutting it down to 34.
Tom Kreitz, such a good match play player. Look at this match. Look at the 5th frame or 6th frame. You say it's over, it's out of it, but here he comes back. He really is always thinking out there. He's good in the clutch, and with 2 strikes here, he still has a chance to win the match and the national championship going against our tournament leader, Chris Warren. But he has to strike right now. Not to beat. The left-hand lane, which everybody's had a lot of success on, has been the one that has taken down Tom Kreitz. He struck 5 times on the right, but he'd only be 190s.
Okay, so going into that championship match, it's this man against tiny Chris Warren. We'll be back after this word from our local station.
I know what you're thinking. What am I doing making chicken? Well, I'm making the most delicious chicken sandwiches in the business. Wendy's whole breast chicken fillet, chicken club with bacon, and our chicken parmesan with rich tomato sauce. And muzzy, you know, that Italian cheese. So Wendy said, Dad, 3 chicken sandwiches. Wow, that's pretty radical thinking for an old-fashioned guy. I said, Wendy, that's the kind of dude I am.
Come to Wendy's for the best chicken sandwiches in the business.
To show how Firestone Firehawk tires perform, we occasionally take some of them for a little weekend drive. At the toughest tracks across the country, we race on the same Firehawk SV street tires you can buy. Over 1 million miles now, and still counting. Firestone, watch us. We're on the move.
It's a great weekend. Sure went fast.
Sunday, they had the courage to confront and conquer the problems of illiteracy. Join President and Mrs. Bush and the recipients of the National Literacy Honors to be free.
Your Better Buick dealers bring on the spring with sunny driving suggestions. Right now, get up to $1,250 back on 2 of the quality cars on the Great American Road. The 1990 Century and the 1990 Regal, or 6.9% APR financing for 48 months. Choose from the popular Regal Coupe or the new Regal Sedan, both with V6 power to spare, or the sleek midsize Century with its new styling and interior improvements. Better than ever for 1990. Test drive Regal or Century at your Better Buick dealers today.
They're unloading the trucks. They're stacking the stores. At Les Schwab, Z800s by the thousands are on sale.
We made a special factory purchase of 350,000 Z800s.
Z800's the 60,000-mile tire. A ride so good, Les Schwab gives you his personal guarantee.
Try a set for 30 days. If you don't agree, return them. We'll give your money back.
Z800's, a 350,000 special purchase, gives you a very special box.
It's our best, and it's on sale.
Watch Secrets of Success, Monday at 8.
Frank Gifford once again from New York. Don't forget, coming up next on ABC's Wide World of Sports, we'll feature the compelling story of the Iditarod Trail Sled Dog Race. Plus the Florida Derby, you'll see it live from Gulfstream Park, and a report on the men's and women's World Cup Speed Skating Finals. As we reported earlier, representatives of the Major League Baseball Players Association and the owners met earlier today here in New York to attempt to end the 31-day lockout. Negotiations have broken off, and the Players Association Executive Board is meeting at this very hour. Right now, let's return to Chris Schenkel and today's final match. Chris?
Thank you very much, Frank Gifford. In New York, we're in Toledo, Ohio, Imperial Lanes, and now 1 game to determine the PBA National Champion. The 2, Chris Warren and Pinsac, are bowling for a total of $82,000. Now, as we always would say in boxing, so-and-so is giving away so much weight. Here is a case where Chris Warren weighs 80 pounds less than his opponent, but doesn't give up anything in courage.
No, he has the powerful ball, Chris, and he is really determined to win, but Jim Pencak has to be beaten. He is really determined. It's going to be a great final match. Because
Jim now has amassed 20 strikes in his victories up to this point. And remember, if he can do it, it'll be 4 games.
That's a long way to go, and obviously he's got the strength to do it. Now we have our Ask Bo as usual, and this one comes from Sharon Bodler of Florence, Mississippi, and he goes like this. Dear Bo, which colleges have the best bowling teams in the country this year, and do they have rankings such as baseball and football? And here is the answer, Sharon. Yes, they do. As of March 1st, 1990, here are the colleges and the rankings for the men and the women. The asterisk on the side denotes they offer a bowling scholarship. So those are the schools to pick out and to watch in the national championships of the colleges. And if you have an Ask Bo question, you can write to me at this address.
All right. Big question here now in Imperial Lanes. Who will be the 1990 PBA National Champion? His 4th match, Jim Pencak. Plenty of power, but leaving the 10.
The championship match, we'll put a little statistics on it. So far this year, the player that has started the match, that'd be Jim Pencak in this case, has only won 36%. That is 13 of 16 starting this week. And so he's at a disadvantage right away. But the second statistic today is his opponents have only averaged 182, and he has struck more on the right lane than the left. So
okay,
it's up for grabs if you like the numbers.
And this year, 8 of the 9 winners have been tournament leader. And here is the tournament leader of this championship. 115-pound, 5'5" tall, Chris Warren, looking for his 2nd victory of the year, lost in a close match last week in Columbus to Monachelli. And Chris Warren leaves a 7 on the right lane.
The mighty might. You look at his form. He's at that low profile like Holman. Nice steady shoulders. Look at those eyes concentrating on the target. Look at that position of that arm and wrist. Absolutely perfect. He tucks that arm inside. You saw the snap wrist action where it really generates the power. And that's the style you got to go look for.
Chris was top-seeded tournament leader when he won his very first PBA title at the ARC Pinole Open earlier this year.
And Craig, congratulations to Chris Schenkel. He received the Bowling Writers Association Award, the John O. Martino Award, for an outstanding contribution to our sport, Chris, and I second that. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. Kevin Shippey went to Reno, PR director of the PBA, to accept it for me, and I thank him and the Bowling Writers. And Chris Warren leaving a 9-pin on the left lane, his favorite lane.
A somewhat shocked Chris Warren. He really put the juice on that bowling ball, and he should have had a strike, a solid 9. Now, once again, we see this. We had one by Doug Kent. The ball should take out the 1, 3, 5, and 9. He had so much power, so much break, that he hooked right by the 9-pin. That's a shot we never saw until a few years back when urethane balls came in, Chris.
He always has that smile on his face. Wonderful disposition, but a fierce competitor. Another powerful strike. First of this game, but he had 20 in his 3 victories.
Jim Pencak racing according to form so far. He has never been behind in a match. His 3 previous victories, he jumped out to an early lead, and once again, he's out to a 1-pin lead. As we come up in the 3rd frame, watch the action, the position of Pinsac. Starts on the approach here. He'll end up way over here and roll the ball right in here. So that little drift on the approach makes it very difficult, but he has the great timing today.
linebacker in the bowling world. Mayfield Heights, Ohio.
The action, the 2-pin, the 3rd pin on the left-hand part of your screen. It goes to the sideboard, trips out the 4 and 7. He's got to like it. He knows he can carry the light hit, but when he carries the high one, he's in business.
And for Chris Warren, another 9-pin, this one on the right lane. And it's like he's trying to figure this whole thing out.
You see a shot almost identical to what Jim Pencak carried. Watch the action of the 2-pin. It goes behind the 4-pin, trips it out. But 9-pin was not taken out by the ball. A little bit more action from the young man, Chris Warren.
And the green shirt saluting all those of Irish ancestry. Let me tell you about his ancestry, Chris Warren. His mother is Japanese. His father is a full-blooded Choctaw Native American.
And he has a chance to win on St. Patty's Day. Now he's way to the extreme left. He'll slide way to the extreme left and roll the ball right over the 4th arrow. He has a real nice style.
And he bows in true Oriental fashion to his first strike coming in the 4th frame. Chris Warren trailing by 12.
St. Patrick's Day is a time of celebration, and this year Budweiser and I are making it a time of giving as well, because this month I'll be in stores and pubs all across America for the Muscular Dystrophy Association. Give $1 to the MDA and you'll get a shamrock with your name on it. Look for my Shamrocks for MDA display wherever Budweiser and Bud Light are sold. You can't miss me. I'm the redhead in green.
Maybe the reason more people switch to Glidden than any other paint in the last 5 years is because we've got the color they're looking for. Glidden, a better way to paint. Maybe the reason more people switch to Glidden than any other paint in the last 5 years is because the end result always looks so beautiful. So beautiful. Glidden, a better way to paint.
Two professionals are bowling for $82,000 in the PBA National Championship, Imperial Lanes, Toledo. Jim Pencak, qualifying 4th, has won 3 games to get to the finals, going against the tournament leader, Chris Warren. Looking away, Warren trailing by 12, a double up for Pinsac. 22-10 lead now. Mayfield Heights, Ohio.
I'll tell you, a man who has won as many tournaments as anybody and who always did well here has that same type of style, Dick Weber. Dick used to get an opponent down early and really try to bury him. Why go to the 10th frame when the key frames are when you have a guy behind? Right now, Pinsac is using that style on each opponent.
I recall your style was very similar, young man.
Sometimes, not as often. Pinsac a chance to open up a 32-pin lead.
Warren looking away. So only a 2-pin. 5 going out at the last moment. Jim Pencak, if you just joined us, eliminated Monachelli. He also got by Doug Kent. And then semifinal game defeated Tom Kreitz. His big game today was 267 and 9 strikes. Every shot so important because there's a difference of 26,000 finishing first or second. His brother David, his wife Liz, been cheering him on with this capacity crowd.
And I have to add to that 26,000, Chris, a 3-year exemption to the Firestone, not a 1-year ride. And I think last place is guaranteed a couple of thousand if you just showed up.
Oh, he wanted that double. 10-pin, right lane.
And Chris Warren using the good touch. He really saw it on that ball. His wrist was rotated around it as hard as he possibly could, and that ball just hung there, would not flip over and carry out the 10. He really wanted that one.
Must be careful here, cross lane. Earlier, he gave us his reply to critics who say he can't use the inside line.
Basically, I just reply that I can play any angle, any place they want me to play on the lane. I'm a good caliber talent player. Bill Hall has worked with me extensively to teach me how to hook the ball more, how to hook it less, how to get the ball down the lane, how to change my break points. So basically, I feel comfortable anywhere on the lane.
Especially when the result is like that.
Well, he's just matured into a good all-around player, and right now he can compete with anybody. And last week he went against the very best on the tour right now, Monachelli, and came within 1 ball of winning. Right now he has himself backed up against the wall against a red-hot, very tough Jim Pencak, who better not look back.
And that won his first championship last August in Green Bay. Beautiful.
You see players mature on the tour. I remember Monachelli and Pinsac when they came out. Both of these players, Monachelli a little bit before Pinsac, they had a lot of power. They just threw balls at the back end. They'd throw 2 strikes, get an open. They'd make other mistakes, miss spares. Both players have matured into top stars. Has a very confident face, Chris Warren, yet he's in arrears by 21 pins through 6.
Pinsac leaving the 4-7.
Boy, was he fortunate there. He had a chance to really put the pressure on Chris Warren and hit up on the ball too early, and it breaks high, almost leaves the 4-7-10 split. Just knocks out the 10 pin, and he maintained his 21 pin lead. But Chris Warren is back in the match with 2 more strikes.
Oh, and then the disaster hit. Chopping the 4 off the 7, Nelson.
Chris, he's never won a major tournament, and he started looking back a little bit there, and all of a sudden, Chris Warren has a chance to jump right in the lead. Pinsac has never been behind. He slides by the 4-7 with a strike here. Warren takes the lead, 7th frame.
And that's the story. 1 pin lead now for Warren. Pattern has changed now. Pinsac dominating his first 3 opponents, then the error in the 7th frame.
Now for Chris Warren. Great match play bowler. Learned all his mental game in Texas. Another strike, he would put Pinsac on the ropes.
Warren now getting his game face on. Didn't look as though he had it earlier.
Well, he was very confident, and that shot was just perfect. Let's see if Pinsac can bounce back. First time today he's been behind an opponent. Trails by 11, coming down to the crunch 8th, 9th, and 10th frames.
That's back in the groove. You know, ladies and gentlemen, we note with sadness the passing of Football Hall of Famer and sportscaster Tom Harmon. Tom was a cherished colleague and friend, and to his lovely wife, Elise, and their children, we can only say, like you, Elise, and offsprings, we'll really miss 98, Tom Harmon.
Sad moment. But for this young man, his career is just blossoming. He trails by 11, 9th frame, National Championship.
Carry up, carry!
Jim Pencak back in the game. Now, 1 pin separates these 2 professionals, a difference of $26,000, winning or losing. 54 to the winner, 28 to the runner-up. Pin.
Chris Warren has bowled so well. Look at his game. First frame 7 pin, then 9 pin, then 9 pin. Strike in the 4th, another 10 pin in the 5th frame, then 3 strikes, and he just tears the cover off this ball, as they say on the tour, and does not get it to flip over and carry out the 10 pin. If he makes this spare, it will be all even with 1 frame to go.
This is the pros' prestigious championship. Their national title at stake. Neither has won it.
To set up the scene, Chris Warren has a possible 227 with 3 strikes. As Pinsac contemplates what he must do in the 10th, it's a lot determined on what Warren does here in the 10th. Warren cannot shut out Pinsac, though.
Split almost averted, but it is the 6-7-10.
We asked him the question at the top of the championship round, what will your thoughts be going into the 10th frame if it comes down to crunch time, strike time? He felt very confident, but now he's dug himself a big hole. He has to go for this, slide the 6 across into the 7.
The man who finished second last week. Boy, is he made of the right stuff.
What a super second shot. Slides that 6. He would have made the 4-6-7-10. He hit it so clean.
Oh.
He's going to make Pinsac earn the national championship. He's not going to give it to him.
Chris Warren, Mighty Mite from Dallas, Texas, has fired at 2:14, and now along with you for the national championship, he can only sit and wait. And I doubt if he'll watch. He hasn't been. Now Pinsac on the right lane.
Needs 18 pin fill here in the 10th frame. A strike wins it all. 9 spare, 9 wins it all.
There is the 1990 happy, determined national champion, Jim Pencak, and winning 4 matches, and again 2 weeks in a row, Chris Warren has been the runner-up. Jim Pencak, Mayfield Heights, Ohio, 30 years old, 5'10", 195 pounds, second victory. Okay, as we have a champion here, we'll return, but right now, going to move east to New York. And here's Frank Gifford.
Okay, Chris, another great match. You guys are on quite a roll. A reminder coming up next on ABC's Wide World of Sports, the compelling story of the Iditarod Trail Sled Dog Race, that from Alaska, plus live, the Florida Derby, and a report on the World Cup Speed Skating Finals. We'll be back to the bowling right after this. Stay with us.
A lot of people can't wait until they retire. But I always liked my work. It worried me that when I turned 65, I'd have to leave. Rules are rules, and that was company policy. Then AARP helped get mandatory retirement eliminated. Now I can retire when I want to retire.
Bye, dear.
Not when someone else wants me to.
AARP, making a difference. It's how steak is done.
I feel really rotten. I have congestion in my nose. My eyes are burning.
Today we'd like you to try Tylenol Cold.
I didn't know Tylenol made a cold medication.
Tylenol Cold has 4 powerful medicines to help relieve runny nose, congestion, hacking cough, and aching pain.
I feel great. My symptoms are gone. I feel like Tylenol Cold did more than live up to its reputation.
Tylenol Cold. Trust it because it's Tylenol. Use it because it works. Also a no drowsiness formula.
New national champion, there he is. Let me introduce the principal. Commissioner of the PBA, Joe Antonora. Chairman of the board, CEO of Society Bank and Trust, Rick Deal. Darrell and Mike Ducat. Liz, you first.
I don't know what to say. It's just the luck of the Irish. We all brought our green carnations, and we all wore green. It was just a good day.
Pinsac, is that Irish?
No, it's not, but I'm going to change my... Start wearing green and drinking green beer.
This atones for finishing second to Mike Alba in the U.S. Open. Here's the money rundown. $54,000, that's only of concern to this man. Chris Warren with 28 grand. Nice going.
Thanks very much, Chris. I'd like to thank everybody here at Ducat's Imperial Lanes and Rick and everyone at Society Bank for sponsoring our tournament. And we have all the great fans here. Everybody got behind me when I start showing some emotion.
Here comes the trophy, the check, and the jacket. We're running out of time. Goodbye. Chris Schenkel for Nelson Burton Jr. See you next week in Cleveland.
ABC's Professional Bowlers Tour. Brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Firestone. Watch us. We're on the move. And by Ebonite, makers of the Thunderbolt Dual Block.
Winning the Firestone Tournament of Champions and being productive over an 18-year career, I think that's helped me a lot.
That's great, but Marshall, we know you aggravated bowlers on and off the lane, so your accolades are pretty well documented. But on the serious side, what do you think is your greatest accomplishment?
Well, I think winning the 2 Firestone Tournament of Champions and being the PBA's all-time leading money winner has something to do with it also.
2 of the great players, Chris. I'm sure we'll see more of them. Back to you.
Okay, you know, we have had 10 tournaments, 10 different winners, but Jim Pencak today could become the first 2-time winner here in 1990. So very soon.
And the green flag flies.
Yeah! Let's get it on. Oh! Left to the chin. And listen to the crowd as they roar their approval. Here he goes. Goodbye. Dennis Erickson, the coach of a national championship team.
It's the greatest feeling in the game, coming to the 18th hole and knowing you've won.
The all-around title is hers. Look at the standing ovations he's getting. A star is born. And McKinney has done it. Well, McGrath is there. It's over. Football wins it.
He must strike to become the national champion.
Pete Weber will wear the Triple Crown ring. Little Al brings it down low. They touch. Little Al under the wall. As Emerson Fittipaldi screams toward the white flag. Here's the finish of the Preakness. Sunday silence and easy going. Photo finish. News is apart. I can't tell.
Dave, we have seen the race that everybody wanted to see here today.
What a finish.
A promotional fee has been paid to ABC by United Airlines, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
2/3 of college athletes pass on the courts but fail in the classroom. Some schools are trying to even the score. Watch Peter Jennings on ABC's World News Tonight, Monday.